What is maiming under Oklahoma criminal law? I'm Tulsa Attorney James Wirth. That's the question that we have. It actually comes from a case that was recently decided by the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals, and that brought that up, and that started this section where we're talking about various similar offenses in the state of Oklahoma related to assault and battery. So simple assault and battery, just a misdemeanor, but there's certain facts that could be alleged that can make it a felony, and that's where, aggravated assault and battery comes in. It's also where maiming comes in. So what makes it maiming? Well, we've got the jury instructions we can provide, which is the most succinct way to lay out what the law requires, and what it provides is no person may be convicted of maiming unless the state has proved beyond a reasonable doubt each element of the crime. These elements are: first, infliction; second, upon another; third, of a physical injury that disables, disfigures, seriously diminishes physical vigor; fourth, performed with the intent to cause any injury. Okay, so as opposed to a regular assault and battery, couple differences here. One requires a physical injury that disfigures or disables or seriously diminishes physical vigor. Two, it requires the intent to cause an injury. So if there's no intent to cause the injury, an injury doesn't have to actually cause the injury. Strike that. The intent is to cause an injury, doesn't have to be intent to cause the injury that actually occurred. So the example it actually provides is that if you intend to punch someone and give them a black eye, and you're successful in doing that, you give them a black eye, well, that's simple assault and battery, up to 90 days in jail. But if you punch someone with an intent to give them a black eye, but instead of giving them a black eye, you more seriously injure them, and let's say that you broke their bone here and fractured it, well, that is a significant injury. So you could be charged with aggravated assault and battery, which is a felony up to 5 years. However, that's likely to heal before the case would get to trial, which means it can't be maiming. But if you punched them in the face and it caused their eye to come out of its socket and caused visual damage that's permanent, that's where you have a maiming case, and it goes from being, instead of the 90 days under simple A and B or the 5 years under aggravated, that goes to a potential life sentence for maiming. So that's where we talk about the physical injury, which, as I noted in that example, it has to be somewhat permanent. It doesn't have to be completely lifelong permanent, but it has to be something that cannot resolve before the case would get to trial. If the issue resolves before it gets to trial, then it's not maiming anymore, and it may just be aggravated assault and battery under the right circumstances. It may not even be that. It could be simple A and B. And other, like I said, big distinction here is it requires the intent to cause a injury, but it doesn't have to be the injury that was caused, just has to be intent to cause a injury. And as I advised before, punishment is anywhere between 0 to life imprisonment for a first offense of maiming. So obviously, if you're dealing with an allegation of that or any other crime in the state of Oklahoma, this information in the video is very helpful, but you're going to need to talk to an attorney privately and confidentially to receive legal advice specific to your circumstances. To get that scheduled with somebody at my office, you can go online to makelawEasy.com.